Hey guys, this is E with Scrapbooking with Me, and we are, believe it or not, I am starting a new journal today. I have had quite a few people that have asked me, is there any way that you can use the papers that you sell in your store to make journals? Yes, they are. Now, some of the papers that we sell in our store are very thick, so it would be a little bit harder. I mean, you can make it, but the pages would be thick. You need to keep that in mind. Now, this is a new collection that we just got in. I think as a matter of fact, we got this in Saturday. It's called Willow and Sage. That's going to be the name of my next journal, Willow and Sage, because I'm going to make my journal out of this scrapbook paper. And I call it scrapbook paper because that's originally what it was intended for. It's a beautiful paper collection. It's a new one by Bo Bunny. Now, Bo Bunny, if you know, we haven't been able to get Bo Bunny for a lot, probably a couple of years now. They really didn't have a lot of new coming out that, I wanted to get anyway. But we're going to use this. Now, I'll tell you, I think I will tell you. Let's see. It's going to tell you the weight of the paper, but I don't think they have it on here. But it's not a very heavy paper. It's very easy to bend. It's a little bit thicker than your, I'd say this is probably a 32-pound paper, something like that. I don't know what that transfers into GSM. Somebody asked me that. You can go to Google and just Google that. But it's probably about a 32-pound. This is what I would print my ephemera on if I was printing some ephemera out. It is blank on the backside, so that's a good thing because you can use this backside for all kinds of journaling. Now, let me show you something brand new that I have. This is a brand new stencil that I have designed with, I designed it and then Benji cut it on his laser. I wanted a stencil that was larger than the 6x6 and things like that because those are hard to use in your journals. This one is 9 inches by 6.5. Let's see what size page this would be. This would be, that'd be 7. If I folded this, that's not a good example. Let me grab another one here. Let's say I folded this one to the size that I would need, which is 6 inches. Okay, we'll just do this real quick. All right, that is the width, 6 inches right there. That's the width of what my journal would be. Be about 5, the pages would be about 5 3/4. But anyway, that's close. Now, it's not quite as tall. I would make mine 9 inches. This is 7, but this is going to give you a good example of what you can do. Now, I've always liked to put lines and things on my papers that I'm going to write on, but I never had a line stencil that would go all the way without me having to move it around and around. So let me show you. Now again, let's pretend that this is 9 inches. So that stencil would go all the way up and down on your page. Now I have already got one here. This one is a new one. I've already got one here that I've inked up. So I'm going to use it. This is made out of Mylar, which is a very good product. It's about 10 mil Mylar, so it won't bend real easy. Now I've just put a little bit of washi on each side of that to keep it from moving on me because I'm not good at holding with this hand, as you guys know. And then I take my brush, and you can use any color ink on here that you'd want. I'll tell you, the black looks really good on here, but I'm just using the vintage photo that I have on my desk. I'll tell you, let's grab a little bit of black and we'll just look at that. Now, I'm not going to clean this brush out too much. This brush had some pink on it, so we may get a different color there, but that's okay. I'm not going to take time to go wash it. But let's just use a little black on there. And I'm just barely tapping that. Okay. And see, it's wide enough that you don't go off on the other page. Once you tape this down, I'm going to close that up and go back and finish off with my black. And you could do each line in a different color. I'm loving it. And I had to design one because I couldn't find one. So, okay, let's look at this. See, look at that. Is that not the neatest thing? Of course, I went crooked on mine, as you can see. But you can lay it down straight. Take a little bit more time than I did on the video. And just lay it down straight. If you had the 9-inch paper, it wouldn't be hard to lay down because you just line up your edges. Now you can do all of your journaling in there and you have the lines. Or you can just use it to do some odd lines on your pages. I just think they're neat. Everybody else might not think that it's neat as it is, but I've always wanted a line stencil, one that would fit my journal pages, not one that was just like this big that I had to keep moving around, because to line those things back up over and over, it's pretty tough. Now, these are going to be for sale in the store when this video is over, and they're made by B&E, which is Benji and Alicia. They're made by B&E Designs, and they were designed by me, by E. All right, I am going to go ahead now and show you what we're going to be making. But I just wanted to show you that because that's a way that you can put some color on your background page without having to leave them just white, or you can use another stencil if you have one. So, Willow and Sage Bow Bunny, and I'll put that link directly below. And what we're going to make is these triple stack pocket. And I have got just some little tags in there that I made up, but let's go ahead and start making this because they're really, really pretty and they're simple. Let's see. I'm going to grab a different color to make, since I'm going to be using this for my journal, I want to make my pages out of this. Ooh, look at that purple. Let's do that. Let's find a color that will go with that nicely. Which all of these colors go together, but that one would go pretty good, wouldn't it? So I think I'm going to use these two together. Need one that's kind of dark and then one that's a little bit lighter. So let me move this up out of the way. You can keep this barcode at the top because that has got all kinds of pretty pattern on there, as you can see. Now, I cut my first piece 6 inches wide, so I'm just going to go all the way down because I'll use the scraps for other pieces. So 6 inches wide, and then I cut it 5 inches tall. And I'll show you why in just a minute. So 6 by 5, we'll lay that aside. Let's go ahead and cut this piece. Again, make sure that you save this little strip at the top. Alright, this one I cut at 3, I do believe. Let me make sure. I'm going to measure it. And I know the light is going in and out here. 3.5. But it's because the sun's going in and out, and my camera changes every time the sun changes. Okay, 3.5. And then I cut the height at 7. So 7. And I know you're going to say, wow, that's way too tall for a journal, but hold on. Just hold on. Now I'm going to lay this aside. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to take this piece and let's see, I think that's the upside. And we're going to score at 1/2 inch on all sides. So 1/2 inch, and then I just go down here and do a 1/2, and then I turn it and do a 1/2 and a 1/2. Now, don't press down too hard on this paper when you're scoring or it'll tear through because, like I said, this is not a heavyweight paper. Okay, then on this one, you're going to do the same thing. 1/2, 1/2, 1/2, and 1/2. And then for the little pocket, we're going to wait. I'll show you what I'm going to do with it. You're going to fold and burnish. And just to keep down a lot of the cracking, when I start to fold, I'll take my fingernails and I run them back and forth on that score line and then fold over. And that will keep your paper from cracking. A lot of times it will. I won't guarantee it, but most of the time it does. It just helps break down those fibers a little bit. Okay. And see, I forgot and pressed too hard right there. And so that tore through, but that's okay. It's not going to be any problem. Now what you're going to do now is you're going to cut out these little corners. Just cut to where the lines intersect. And just cut a little, I cut a little oval. Some people cut it straight across. I just go at a little angle. We're going to do the same thing on this one. Run my fingers back and forth. It actually looks like it's going to pour down rain here any minute. And my hubby couldn't stand it because the neighbors was mowing their grass and he wasn't. So now he's out there mowing. So now both of us are sneezing. Even though he's got a mask on, we're still sneezing. So I don't know. I don't know what he's mowing because our yard is like it's like a loblolly. I mean, anybody know what a loblolly is? It is wet because we've had so much rain. Now, find the top. This is going to be the top of my pocket. Fold that piece over and then go ahead and put some glue on there and glue that down. This is going to reinforce this pocket at the top, so when you put things in and out of there, it doesn't tear. When you have thin paper, you need to reinforce. And I'm just going to put a little pull in there. Shot myself right in the face. Then I'm going to go ahead and burnish down all of my score lines. Okay. And then I will go ahead and ink. You could go ahead and stitch around it. Anything that you want to do. But when you stitch around these, if you're going to stitch, you need to stitch with these flaps out. You don't need to stitch those flaps down. Stitch with the flaps out and just stitch like that. So make sure that you do that because these flaps are going to be very useful in what we're doing. And they don't need to be glued down. Alright, this is our top side right here. Go ahead and burnish. Press that down. There's your top side, and then I'm going to just punch a tiny pull. Just a small one. Okay. So we've got a pull there. I'm going to go ahead, even though the ink is not going to show real well on this, I'm going to go ahead and put some ink on there just in case I've got any cracking or anything. It'll cover up that white. Now on these, like I said, do not glue these flaps down or do not stitch them down. You're just going to fold that flap over, fold this flap over, and then depending on the width of your page, my pages are usually 5 3/4. So I'm going to make sure that when I stack these pockets that I don't have more than maybe 5 1/2. That right there is 5 1/2. I don't want to go any more than that or my pocket will be too long for my page. Now you can always make these narrower. You can always make them a little bit shorter if you want. I'm going to put some glue on the top side of these flaps. Just the top side. I didn't really need to put glue on that last one, but I did. And I'm going to glue it on top. Just like that. Let's go ahead and wipe that excess glue off. And I just want to make sure that I'm getting my pocket straight. Okay, looks like I need a little glue right there. And I do need a little extra glue right here. Put that glue right on the edge of that. Okay, so I'm just gluing it down like that. I'm not going on in here with my glue. I'm just putting that glue on the flap, on the very edge of the flap, because you don't want to glue that pocket together. Now, if you wanted to, and I could have done that on this one, I didn't on the other one, you could have waited until you put this on and then punched your pull over here if you wanted to. I went ahead and punched mine, and that's fine. It's not going to be a big problem. Now, we've got those two pockets put together. Now I want a little, just a little tiny pocket here that we can use for little tags or little tickets or something like that. Now this one I made 2 inches by 1 3/4 inches. And I think I might just use some of this green paper just to bring that green across. So 2 by 1 3/4 inches. Now, you can see I didn't cut this one larger than I wanted because I'm going to glue this one straight down. These, I cut them larger because I wanted that fold over, that 1/2 inch fold over back there. But this one, it's just going to go down like that. It's not going to have an extra fold over. Right, and then on this one, you just want a little bit of glue right around the edge. And then I like to put it where you just have a tiny bit of that bottom color showing, like that. Just a little bit of that bottom color showing there. So we got that down. And that's basically your pocket. Now what will happen is this tag goes down in here, like that. This tag, right here, this big tag, it goes down in here. Let's make sure that I got it the right size. Yes. Now, imagine this being glued down. Of course, it's not glued down at this moment. But if it was glued down like that, it would go in there. You see, you still have your pockets open. They're not closed. And then you've got a little tag that'll go in here. Like that. And there are your tags. So you've got 3 stacks of tags, and they slide in and out real easy. So on these little flaps, you're just going to cut them back a little bit, like that. And then we're going to glue these flaps down. You could cut them off, but since this paper is a little bit thin, I'm just going to glue them down. And I'll show you why in just a minute. Okay. Got those glued down, and just make sure that the edges are glued pretty well so that when you put your tag in and out, it doesn't catch on anything like that. All right, now I'll show you. Let's just say that this is our journal page that we wanted to put this on. When you glue, you're going to put your glue here, here, and here. And I usually put a little bit right there. And not any glue up here. Don't put any glue there. If you do, you're going to glue this side of this pocket together. I haven't seen one like this before, so I don't have a clue if there's somebody out there that's made one. If they have, fantastic. I just happened to think about something like this morning because I was trying to think of some different pockets that I'd like to make, and this just popped in my head. I've done the other stacked type before, but I haven't done one exactly like this. Now, what I'm doing here is, this is a little piece out of the paper pad, and I just cut that off to fit on here, and then I just kind of angled my corners, and I'm going to put that down almost like a little label on that. But you could decorate these any way that you want, of course. I just think it'll be pretty if some of these colors come over here. Okay. And then I want a little something on here to break that up. I think I'll use my pinking shears. Don't know if this is going to work, but we'll see. Use my pinking shears. Cut a little angle on both sides. And you could also use those decorative scissors or your punches, your edge punches to do this. Okay, now let's see. Yeah, I think I'll do that. Find my pencil. Okay, I'll just mark it with this. That's where I'm going to cut it off right there. Okay, I'm going to glue this down. Put a little ink around it. Now you could leave it and not glue it all the way down and have it as a little belly band across here. I'm just going to glue it all the way. Like that. Okay. And then, let's see. What about if we just take a piece of this edge that we cut off here. Let's see. What about that? Put a piece of that right across the center. Let's cut it right there. Okay. There's that. And then we need some embellishments. Now, we also have these, and they're the willow and sage candy dots. And look at that. That'd be a pretty tag right there in itself, wouldn't it? So, let's see. Let's put some of these on there. I'm going to use some little green ones. Put in the four corners. Okay. And we might as well go ahead and put a couple over here. I'll put these green here. The different color green. Okay. Then I'm just going to grab one of our little small doilies. And these are the doilies that we're trying to get made enough of so that we can sell in the store. Hopefully we'll have those available before long. And then I think maybe this flower, or maybe I'll put this flower up here. Yeah, I'll put that flower in the center of that doily. And we'll come back with a little butterfly. Got a little purple one in here if I can pick him up. There we go. Purple butterfly there. And then I'm going to put something else over here. Okay, this is a page that's out of the collection too. Now I'm going to cut this one out right here. These colors are just so pretty for spring. I mean, it's going to be fantastic. Now, I could use this like it is if I cut it down more. But I want to use my big punch, and I'm hoping this is going to work. And I want to punch that out and just get a little bit of each color on there. Oh, yes, that works. That works. Okay, so I'm going to ink this up. And then I'm just going to fold it in a couple of different ways. I just don't want it to look so flat. That's what I guess what I'm going for. And you can always use some little pop dots under this. They won't make it stand up too much. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put a little ink on the back, since I'm not going to glue this flat. I want it to stand up just a little. Just enough. Okay, we're going to put our glue right in the middle. And then that's going to glue down. Let's see which way I want it. It's going to glue down like that in the middle. Okay, and yes, I know that your journal page will flatten that out some, but that's okay. As long as it's not glued around the edges, it'll still pop back up a little. We're going to take our little doily. We're going to glue it down. Right there. And then this is a little flower that Katie made for me. I'm hoarding these is the reason I don't use them very often. It has some purple in there and some pink in there, so that works great. And then I'm going to put a pop dot right in the middle of it. Well, what happened to my pop dots? There they are. And I think I'll go with the dark green. Put that in the middle since it has a lot of pink on it. There we go. Then our little butterfly down here. Don't forget him. He keeps trying to fly away, so we got to glue him down. There's our little butterfly. And I think that's going to be it, other than making tags for it. Isn't that sweet? I think they're so cute. And they're not hard to make at all. They're pretty quick, not hard. You could always go ahead and put a piece of something down here if you wanted to. You can just decorate them any way you want. Just make them how you want to make them. For our side stack pockets, I guess that's what we'll call them. I hope you give this a try, and if you do, make sure that you share it over on our Facebook group. We'd love to see that. We enjoy seeing your creations as much as you enjoy seeing ours, and probably even a little bit more. I think I'm going to put some little dots on this. I think I'll use the pink ones. They show up a little bit better. But I love getting ideas from you guys. Alright guys, we'll talk to you later. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. Bye-bye.